You've heard of the Gateron Milky Yellows. You've heard of the color green. What about the Gateron Milky Greens? We're going to go over these switch details. I'm going to do some sound tests and comparisons with other clicky switches. And then I'll sum this video up with Pete's thoughts at the end. So, greens, clicky switch that use a click jacket mechanism, meaning it clicks on the way down, not on the way back up. Generally a higher pitched sort of click sound. You like that? Most people don't approve of the click jacket clicky switches like the greens, blues from Cherry or Gateron or whatever. I'm kind of neutral about it. The greens supposed to be thicker, deeper, more heavy than the blues. 65G operating force and either 70, 75, or 80 bottom out force. I've actually seen it listed all three ways on the internet. They went with 80 on Gateron's website themselves, so maybe we'll go with that. Doesn't matter. Milky housing, as opposed to the normal Gateron greens, I actually have some over there, it's supposed to be smoother. It's a different material. It's supposed to be nylon and nylon, top and bottom housing, regardless of the milky bottom housing or the black bottom housing. I have the milky yellows and the black bottom housing. To my knowledge, I'm pretty sure they're all the same sort of nylon. It's like nylon NS66 or something. It's supposed to be less scratchy and more smooth. I definitely found that to be the case with the milky yellows, and we'll see the milky greens right now. So let's do a sound test first. I don't actually approve of these switches, by the way. Maybe I should lead with that. No, I shouldn't lead with that. I should have waited. I spoiled this video. Now you can leave. No, check out the sound test and then join me afterward for why I don't actually think these are the best clicky switches. Okay, Pete's thoughts. We'll talk about sound and feel, and then, well, I don't actually have many pros with this switch, so I'll just list out all my cons. Sound, I think they sound okay for a clicky switch. I personally much prefer all of the click bar switches, the NK Sherberts, as well as the box Jades, box Pinks, box Navies, box Pale Blues, box Whites, all of those. I like those better. They're much more crunchy and metallic, sharp sounding. These are the typical like Cherry Blues, high pitched. I know you wanted that one more time. I'm gonna keep milking that for all it's worth. No, they sound okay. I would describe them as inconsistently clacky. They are much thicker than Gateron or Cherry Blues, so there is like a tiny bit of a deeper sound, but it's a little inconsistent. If you go back and listen to the sound test, it depends on how hard you type and how fast you type. It kind of comes through in different ways. That actually kind of annoys me personally. You might not have noticed at all. That's fine. Feel. They definitely feel thicker and more like difficult, as in like actually difficult to press down. I've seen comments here on YouTube that say these might be absolutely okay for typing or work or coding or stuff like that. Definitely would not use them for gaming. I don't think they would do well for that. But they might work just fine for typing. In fact, I could actually see you being more accurate. It's tougher to make the key press down. It generally means a little bit more accurate typing. You wobble your fingers on top like it doesn't make a difference. Speaking of wobble, this actually gets to my con. These actually feel kind of cheaply made in several different ways. Number one, I put on no less than like 30 or 40 different switches. On these keycaps right here, these are the most like wobbly switches on my keycaps I've ever seen. Especially the caps lock. I don't know if you can see that right there. They wobble way more than any other switch I've ever put on this keyboard with these specific keycaps. It ain't the keycaps, it's the switches. It just feels loose on there. And it also feels wobbly attaching to my plate. Again, it's the switches. I put a bajillion different switches on this keyboard, and these are very hard to press down into my plate / PCB. You can't, they don't snap on. There's like, is that even in there? Then you press it down harder and it kind of like gently squeezes in there. I don't like that. The switches themselves, the housing, aren't wobbly. Like, I don't think they need switch films, really. You could probably put some thin ones on there, but they just kind of feel cheaply made and they don't really fit under the keycaps very well. It just, I don't know, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I can't feel a massive difference when I actually start typing on them due to that, but I have to imagine it affects the sound and overall feel somewhat. Again, this is just like, you can't actually see it, I realize, but it's just, this just feels like it's on there all the way. It feels, every single one of them too. It's not like one bad switch in there. So that's a con right there. My other cons are the sound. If you're gonna spend money on a clicky switch, just go with one of the KL box switches. NK sherbets are fine too. I did a review on that. You can check the link in the description. But I don't know, all of those sound better, all of those feel better, and they're probably about the same price, if not cheaper. So why would you ever buy the Gateron Greens? I really don't know. They're better than probably the Gateron Blues. The Milky housings, they're probably a bit smoother. I couldn't tell a massive difference between normal Gateron Greens and the Milky Greens. The yellows, the Gateron Milky Yellows, are like a best-in-class linear switch. The Gateron Milky Greens, I think you could probably just skip, right? They feel a little bit cheaply made. They're a little wobbly here and there on the keyboard and the keycaps, and they don't sound or feel that great. Sorry. I don't know why you watch this video, other than to say I don't actually approve. Go check out some videos in the description. I'll leave a link to the Box Shades and Box Pinks, which are my personal favorites. NK Sherbets are also good in there. I prefer those. I think they sound better, I think they feel better, and they're not that much more expensive, so why wouldn't you? Okay, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a lovely non-green day. Sorry, Gateron. I love you, Keeb fan. Adios.